Hello YouTube, this is TR Gunner here. This is the third in a series of 1911s that I have built using the Stealth Arms frame and the Stealth Arms jig. I wanted to talk about this gun a little bit and give you a little explanation on it. This is not a 45. It may look like a 45, but it is not. This is a 9mm 1911, okay? It is built on a Stealth Arms 1911 45 ACP 80% frame. People are asking me what's an 80% frame. Now, an 80% frame, if you watch my other two videos, a little more explanation on it, but basically an 80% frame that's what it is. It's finished 80%. You, as the consumer, have to finish the last 20% of the frame to make it a functioning firearm. And Stealth Arms provides an amazing product to do that with. It is their Stealth Arms Phantom Jig. With this jig, anybody as long as they can follow the directions, can make a fully functional 45 or 9mm frame that they can build into a firearm like this very easily. It just takes time and learning. It is a great product. You should look it out. Go to stealtharms.com, check it out. I think you'll find it quite interesting. It's not that difficult, believe me. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Okay? So let's talk about this weapon here. This is a 9mm 1911 built on a Stealth Arms 45 ACP frame. First thing I want to do is I want to clear the action and make sure the gun is safe before we start handling it, okay? So let's do that first. Okay, first off, I've already removed the magazine. As you can see, the magazine's empty. Now I am going to open up the action. As you can see, the action is open. There is no round in the action. As you can see here, if I put my light on it, there's nothing there. It's empty, okay? Nothing in the barrel as well. It's clean, super clean. Okay, so the gun is empty, all right? So now we can talk about this gun without fear of it going off on me, thankfully. Now, everyone should always remember gun safety, very important. Before you handle any firearm, assume it is loaded until you physically check and unload the weapon yourself. Very important. You must do it yourself. To never let no one else do it for you, do it yourself. That way, the only way you know it's 100% safe. So now that we've made sure this weapon is safe now, let's go ahead and talk about it, okay? Now, what I said, I built this on a 1911 45 ACP 80% Stealth Arms frame. Now, how did I do that? Well, I used the Stealth Arms jig, of course, to mill most of the gun, except for the feed ramp. The feed ramp on a 9mm 1911 compared to a 45 is quite a bit steeper than a 45 ACP. So that has to be done by hand. And then the jig that comes with the Stealth Arms is designed to mill a 45 ACP feed ramp. Okay? It will not work properly if you try to do that. I know, because I messed up another frame trying to make a 9mm and it didn't work for me. So what you have to do is you have to when you get to the part where you cut the feed ramp with the jig, you only cut half of the feed ramp. Don't cut it all the way down. The rest has to be done by a rat tail file and by hand so that it will fit your 9mm cartridge, okay? It's much easier, and it's also a much steeper ramp so it'll feed properly when it goes into the chamber, okay? After some trial and error, I finally got it where it'll feed 100%, and it works flawlessly now. No problems at all, every time. Now, this gun is also, if you notice, I have placed a serial number on the frame, which if you look, it will be, see if I can get a nice close view of, there it is, right there. You see it? That serial number is TR091502. Basically what that means, it's one I put into the frame myself, I cut it into the frame myself, which you're not required to do that by law, but I did it for the main reason in case it gets stolen, or I misplace it, or I lose the weapon, then I'll be able to identify it positively as mine. The TR in the serial number stands for my initials. The 09 is the month that it was built, and the 15 is the year it was built, 2015, and the 02 is the second gun I built that year. Now everyone's saying it's now 2017. Why am I doing a video on this gun after 2000? I've had it for 2 years now. Well, not quite 2 years. I've had it for almost about a year and a half, and the reason I'm doing the video is that I have now placed over 10,000 rounds through this weapon. That is correct, over 10,000 rounds. I shoot a lot of IDPA and USPSA with this weapon, okay? And I want to do a long-term study on a long-term video on it so you can see the quality of these Stealth Arms guns and the quality of a home-built ghost gun, if you want to call it, built by yourself, how quality, how reliable. They're just as reliable as a factory gun, if not more so, because you can fit it to your specific requirements where it'll be perfect. Now this gun has no problems feeding rounds. It'll feed everything from hollow point 9mm rounds, which are like these here, which are the 147 grain, real long hollow points. It'll also feed the 115 grain, the real shorties. It'll feed lead bullets, round ball. I mean, this thing will feed everything, even empty cases. It's amazing. I mean, this gun feeds no matter what it is. Main reason it feeds so well is because of this magazine. I use only Wilson magazines in my guns. They are the best by far out there. They will save you a lot of headaches and feed and reliability. This is the new Wilson magazine with this little bump out right here, as you can see. So it helps with the round so it doesn't nosedive in there and pops into your chamber better. It will hold 10 rounds plus 1 in the chamber. Okay, now let's talk about the gun itself, what I did to it. First off, we can see it's a aluminum frame gun, which all Stealth Arms products are aluminum frame. They do not make a metal frame at all, so you're aluminum frame. But don't let that scare you. This aluminum frame is very strong, holds up real well, as I can attest over 10,000 rounds fire through it. This gun is pretty simple, made up for me. I went with a very basic Colt 1911 long trigger. I went with a Wilson bulletproof hammer, Ed Brown safety. I prefer the Ed Brown safeties. They just work better. I like them. They got the little bump out on them right here, which is nice. I went with a flat mainspring housing. I like the flat mainspring housing and long trigger. I went with Novak sights and a Novak front sight as well. Okay, I prefer the Novak sights. They're like industry standard out, but they just work. I can put them on my gun, and they always shoot the point of aim. I've never had an issue with them. Only thing on this gun I don't like is going to be this front sight here, which I plan on changing. It's an all black sight. I'm going to swap it out for a fiber optic sight. That's the only thing I'm going to do recently. I also put a Briley, I don't know if you can see that or not, Briley match barrel in the gun, along with a Briley match bushing with a reverse crown barrel. The barrel's been reverse crown. That means I've cut the barrel back to the bushing and reversed the crown end. It looks better, gives a little more accuracy, I think, and just gives a little more character to the weapon. Also on the gun, I have the ejection port's been lowered and flared. This is a fusion slide, which is a rib top slide with grab points in front and back. And what I did on this, I didn't like the flaring and the lowering of it when it first came. Wasn't quite enough. It was dinging my 9mm rounds. I do not know why. So I went ahead and I just lowered it down even more and flared it some more. Also very important, you must remember, if you're going to build a 1911 9mm using a 45 frame, it can be done, as I can show you here. This one has. One thing you got to remember very importantly is you have to use a 9mm slide. Very important. A 9mm 30 super slide must be used because of the shell casing. The back part of the shell casing here is much smaller than the 45 for it to engage. You also got to play with the extractor quite a bit, and the injector's got to be a long ejector, not a short ejector. I'm using see the long ejector in there. Also, you got your firing pin. I use a 9mm firing pin, and which is a little bit smaller than your 45 firing pin hole. It gives a more positive ignition every time, and has a tighter spring in it as well. This is a Series 70, not a Series 80, so it does not have the firing pin safety drop in it, which I don't like. You really can't get a good trigger of that. Now, let's talk about the trigger on this weapon. This gun will break at 3.5 pounds with 0 to no creep on it. Okay, I took a lot of work for me to get that trigger right. I did it myself. I'm very proud of it. And everyone that picks the gun up and shoots it, they love it. Okay, the trigger is very crisp, very clean, as you can see. Also, if you look at this, the safety on it, which is right here, I went with a full-size extended Wilson safety on it, and it does what it's supposed to. It clicks on and off. Hear the click? Very clear. Okay. Also, it has I use a standard Colt slide release. I like those better than anything on the market. I've tried them all, and the standard Colt slide release is the way to go. It never gives you an issue with fitting or working or anything. Standard Colt magazine release as well, too. Okay. All the internal components on this gun are all bulletproof, Wilson bulletproof components. That includes the sear, the disconnect, the sear spring. Also, all those components inside have been, like I said, with the bulletproof, they'll give you no problem at all. Once you get them tuned in, they'll last forever. The finish on the gun that I put on this weapon is called a black ice finish. You should look it up, black ice. It is an excellent finish for an aluminum frame gun. It's kind of like anodizing, but works much better, holds up much better. The slide is cold blue. I cold blue the slide myself. Okay. All the components on the gun, including the safety, the grip safety, the flat mainspring housing, all of those also had black iced as well too. They'll hold up a lot better than the standard finish on the components. It just works. Black ice, they're very quick at what they do, very quick turnaround time. Their product is outstanding, especially for aluminum frame guns, and I'm going to be using it on all of my guns now. I prefer a black gun over a shiny chrome gun anyway. Range time, like I said, I put 10,000 rounds on this through this gun. You can go to 1911forum.com, do a search, and you will find a full review on this gun, a 10,000 round review, and I'm now fixing to push close to 15,000 rounds with this weapon with no issues whatsoever. It still shoots 2.5 inches at 25 yards all day long. The grips are made by Packmeyer. They are Coca-Cola wood, very hard wood, very nice looking. Actually, they offset and work really pretty on the all black weapon. Picked those up really cheaply at home at the one of the gun shows here in town. I think I paid around $20–25 for them, but they're really nice. I also use hex head screws with O-ring retainers to keep from vibrating loose on me. Those had to be fitted too, believe it or not, because they were protruding to the magazine well, so I had to file them down. They weren't protruding anymore, so they won't scratch up my magazines. Mag well has been, I have belted it a little bit around the edge, and not a lot, but just enough to facilitate a faster reload. So, you can see it's very smooth. Weapon is super smooth. No hang-ups, no nothing. Okay. Okay, everything works like it's supposed to. Grip safety works like it's supposed to, as you can see. When you push it, it'll fire. Also, the slide safety, I won't fire with the slide safety on. It's got a definite detent. Click on it. Okay. So that is it. Any questions on this or how I built it, just give me a holler, leave a note down in my below my video here. I'll be sure to answer all comments that I can. Just like I said, it's not that hard of a build. You get a really nice weapon out of it. A little bit of time, a little bit of effort. Money-wise, this gun I have probably got, honestly, if I count the expenditure of the Phantom jig and the frame and everything, I've probably got around $800 in the weapon with all the components and everything else. I have fitted everything on the gun myself. Nothing was done by a gunsmith. I fitted the slide. I fitted the barrel. So it's all done by myself. It's all trial and error. I'm not a gunsmith by trade. I learned it all myself. Honestly, the hardest thing to fit in this gun was the barrel and the slide. Everything else was pretty easy. Even the grip safety went on pretty quickly. And I did have a little trouble with the slide safety to get the right detent and right click on it, but I ended up getting it done. You just got to play with it, work on it, trial and error, get it done, make it happen. Other than that, I can't think of anything else for you on it. If you have any questions again, drop me a line. I'll see if I can answer them for you. It's a really nice weapon. I do a lot of shooting IDPA and USPSA. Everyone that picks the gun up and uses it really enjoys it. The recoil is negligible on it. I mean, almost nothing with that 9mm. I've always wanted a 9mm 11, so now I have one. It just works. It functions. It's a beautiful gun and no issues. Okay, again, thank you for watching my videos. Hopefully I can get better at doing this. I plan on doing more. My next video is going to be on the build of a Commander and either 10mm or 40. I'm trying to decide whether I want to do a 40 or 10mm in it, but it's going to be, again, another 1911 Stealth Arms frame with a Commander link slide on it. So I am looking forward to getting started on that and getting a video posted up. Hey, I might even do like a start to finish video. I'm quite decided yet on that. Maybe a start to finish on the whole build. Let me know if that's something y'all want to see. If it is, then I'll consider doing that. From the beginning of the middle of the frame all the way through, fitting all the components, refinishing, range test, the whole 9 yards. I can do a complete series on it. If you're interested in something like that, drop me a line in my comments, let me know. Again, this is TR Gunner. Thank you for watching, and don't forget, keep your powder dry and keep shooting. Thank you. Have a great day. God bless.